Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Geek Cause, episode 27.
Oh, remember the number this time.
No, I looked up at the top where I wrote it in. How is everyone doing today on this lovely, rainy and shitty Irish day outside?
Yeah, great way to start the new year.
Great way. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We
Happy
hope everyone
2020.
had a very good New Year's Eve, and you either A, got really drunk and had a great time, or B, didn't get drunk but still had a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, funny note on that, on the weather that I was talking about here. So I did a little research, and I don't know how it came about, but I was looking at for where I'm from. So if anyone doesn't know, I'm not Irish.
What?
Yes.
Wait, no. You mean you've been lying to me this whole time?
It's true. But I'm from Michigan. So I was looking at where I come from in Michigan, and I was comparing the weather from there to here in Rathangan in Ireland. And not only do you see, so when you're looking at averages of temperatures, and it was average of temperatures and average amount of rainy days and stuff like that. And I was looking at it, and so here it was the average amount of rainy days was about 14 days, roughly, of each month.
Oh, each month. I thought it was in the year. It's that's bullshit.
No. The average, so each month has on average about 14 days. Some are 16, 17, and some are, so if you're thinking about it, it's about half of the month is, on average,
raining.
It's raining. And they consider that, I think, a substantial, a okay amount of precipitation.
Yeah.
So, and throughout the year, and the averages of temperatures for every month vary from the average of about, I think 40, low 40s, and this is in Fahrenheit. So it would be what is it in
I have no idea.
Celsius?
I use the easy one.
I use the easy one. Celsius. No, opposite. Fahrenheit to Celsius. All right, so it'd be about 5 Celsius or 40 Fahrenheit to about I think the highest average in some of the months was 70 Fahrenheit for an average, which is about 21 here, which sounds about right. It's about mild. It's middling here, right?
Yeah.
And I looked at so then I decided to look at back home what the averages for those were by each month.
Yeah.
So in the winter months, the averages were as low as 20. And that's averages.
Nice.
And that's in Fahrenheit. So as low as -6 Celsius.
Yeah.
And roughly for averages. And then in the summer, it goes up to about, I think average is 85 roughly for Fahrenheit, which is 29 Celsius.
You have actual seasons.
Yeah. So
your summers are hot and your winters are cold. We don't get that.
But the best,
our winters are okay, and then our spring is cold.
and then summer is
spring.
is what some might consider perfect.
Yeah.
Right? The perfect temperature that you would want.
Or it's that 20, 21 degree. Not too hot.
In the States, it's well, not in the States specifically, but where I'm from, it's in the first few months, it's cold. And then you have the next 3 months, it's okay. It's decent. Then the next 3 months, it's hot. It's hot. And then the last 3 months, it's decent again.
Yeah.
So you have this perfect blend. And then the best part is I looked at averages for precipitation, and for each month, here specifically in Rathangan, it was 14 to 16. I think maybe there was a month that had 18 days on average, and that's on average for each month that it's rain. And back where I'm from, it's on average it's 6 to 8 days for each month. So half of what you have
your actual seasons and less rain.
Yeah.
Where we don't have seasons and just more rain.
It's not just consistent rain. And the best part is that's just an average. You know what I mean?
It's usually higher.
So it could be for maybe 1 year, the whole month it just rained.
It just rained, honestly.
Or maybe 1 week it rained straight, and then the next week it only rained once, so they like average it differently,
Yeah.
like weird. So I'm just like, it just rains all the time here. It rains decently where I'm from as well, but the difference is like the amount of rainy days isn't outrageous compared to here. It's just that it happens
It's a bit more
less consistently,
spaced out.
Yeah. So it's like
it's not day after day after day.
or it could be this is more how it's like it could be where in a day it could rain for like 6 hours, but then it's gorgeous the rest of the day. And like that can happen here too.
It's rare though.
and like I've watched it happen multiple times, but the problem is that but then the next day to compensate for the fact that it had a nice day, it'll rain for another like 6 days.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a give and take here. For every hour of sunshine, we have to get 6 of rain.
Because it's funny because you guys like have here like a meme about how consistently the weather changes. Like it could be like rainy 1 second and then sunny the next, everything like that. And that's the same joke that happens in Michigan, except for the fact that at least we predict that accurately, though.
Yeah,
at least
you
we'll
know
go,
it's coming.
Like I'll look at the weather and it'll be like tomorrow today it'll be like gorgeous sunshine, 30 degrees Celsius, like just super hot, super nice and warm, and then the next day it'll be like snow.
Yeah.
But at least our weather station will like tell us that.
No.
Where like here it's just like it's gonna rain all week, and then you'll look outside the next day and it's sunny, and then, and it still says forecasted rain.
Yeah.
Until about 3 hours into it, then they're like, "Oh, God damn it, John! You forgot to change the
update it.
You forgot to update the weather again." I keep telling you.
I think the weather guys are just like, oh, it's going to rain. It's like we have a 90% chance we're going to be right here, guys.
So I don't know. I just thought it was funny, like that. I was just mentioning that. It just talking about the weather. I was looking at it, and it's literally it don't always be like that, but sometimes it do.
It don't always be like that, but sometimes it do.
Yes.
Cody 2020.
So, about half the time in a month, I'm living with rain.
Yeah.
So you can see my excitement when I think about being able to see the sun again.
Which means that in my life, I'll spend half of my life in the rain.
At least. On average.
On average.
That's not on average.
More than likely more.
Well, anyways, on from that, let's talk about some topics that are relevant to I mean, to be fair,
welcome to our meteorology podcast.
Weather and where we live is related to our podcast.
Yeah. It's like an update about how things are going. It's raining.
I mean, real quick, did you do anything exciting, anything to talk about for New Year's or anything like that?
No, I did nothing because I was in work the next day.
And I did nothing because I had like a beer and 2 glasses of Prosecco, and I felt nothing from that, but I was also like, just, you ever have that feeling when like you thought that you were going to drink or something, and then you start to do it, and then you realize, oh no, I'm going to have to actually like put effort into doing it, and I don't want to do it.
I can't just be like an automatic alcoholic. I have to put effort into it this time.
And so then you're just like, I don't feel like it. So instead, I waited until midnight, and then I went to bed at like 12:30. I was like, it was like cool, New Year's, yay.
Yeah, I was in work from 10 till 6 New Year's Day, so it's like, I'm not doing anything because I'm gonna want to like hang myself if I go out and get drunk and have to deal with the day hungover.
And that's fine. You don't have to drink to have a good time. And I didn't do much. I think me and Becca literally just played Stardew Valley all night.
Yeah, I think I played Call of Duty up until like 11:45. Then I like rang in the new year, had a beer.
Yeah, and then you were like, great.
It was like good times.
Time to sleep.
I think I watched like on RT what came on after like their countdown was that movie Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis, where he has his dad's ashes in the coffee can.
Oh yeah,
that was on after it. I think I watched that and then went to bed.
That's a good movie. I actually like that movie.
I enjoyed it. That was my New Year's.
Exciting. Well, speaking of the new year and bringing things in, I am excited to talk about today some games and movies that we're looking forward to in 2020.
There's a lot of them, actually.
And there's a lot of really good games that are going to be coming out. And there's some that haven't even been, confirmed for 2020 release, but there's a good chance that they'll be out at some point in 2020. And, I think that we should just talk about some of the things that we're excited for to see and play.
Oh, yeah.
Really. So, is there anything that sticks out in your head right now in terms of games? Like, what's your number one game that at the moment you're excited for in 2020 that is coming out? We'll start with that.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
that is my most anticipated game of the year.
I wasn't going to choose that initially, but I honestly think that's what it is.
I can't say any other game. I can't see other game because I'd just be lying.
I'm ready for I've been really dying for a really good RPG that's like has a good systems in place, and if it actually fills my want of an RPG with also having like interesting mechanics to it, it's just so much to be excited about that.
That's my number one choice, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to have to agree with you there. Cyberpunk 2077 just looks phenomenal.
So good.
It looks like it's going to be amazing. There's nothing that I've seen that them talk about so far that has made me feel like it's not going to be good.
Yeah, they haven't given any details that make me kind of go, eh. They've been saying stuff and I've been going, ooh, like that's interesting. And
that's
different.
Yeah, of course they're going to say that stuff, right? But like, it's still, I haven't even gotten like a whiff of anything that doesn't seem right. So there's
been like little to no controversy or like madness about it. Anything that's like starts to stem that's bad immediately disappears because they just make a statement about it, and it's like, oh, never mind.
I mean, like people have been kind of clamoring for a while to get a good cyberpunk stuff has kind of been out of the sort of spotlight for a while in terms of like major forms of it. And so I think
steampunk kind of came in and took over there for a while.
Yeah, and then fantasy for the last like 15 years has been very, very just fantasy's always been popular, but it's been really holding the light. When Game of Thrones came out and people started getting really into that stuff.
Fantasy and sci-fi have been the two top hitters.
Yeah,
so like getting cyberpunk coming back into the cut, it's like
it's gonna have like I think that mix of action and RPG elements, but also just a really great story that's going to make it feel good.
And it has Keanu Reeves.
It has Keanu Reeves.
And they actually went out of their way to add more Keanu Reeves.
After he was so well received, probably, of course.
And apparently it was Keanu Reeves' idea. He asked them if he could have more parts. And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
You're Keanu Reeves.
We're not going to say no to you.
You're fucking Keanu Reeves. Who says no to Keanu? I want somebody right now to tell me that they would say no to... If Keanu Reeves walked up and said...
I need your car.
If Keanu Reeves walked up to me and was like, I need to kiss you. I'd be like, okay.
I think we're getting a deeper subtext here, Cody. Are you telling us you want to kiss Keanu Reeves?
I would let it happen. I'm not saying I'd want to. I'm saying...
You wouldn't say no.
Who would look at Keanu Reeves and if he's just like, listen, I need to kiss you. I have to right now. Your face brings to me the need to kiss you. I'd be like, whatever you need, Keanu. Whatever you need. I'm not about this 100%, but I think that I'll allow it.
For you, anything.
For you, I would die.
Oh.
I would die for you, Keanu.
You heard it here first.
Anyways, though, some other games that are going to be coming out that I'm excited for. We have Animal Crossing.
Hell yeah. I'm always excited for Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing on the Switch. Like,
what could
play
go
it
wrong?
Big on my TV, walk around anywhere I want with it. Like, it just sounds... The multiplayer aspect...
crippling debt to, what animal is
Tom Nook? To Tanuki. He's a Tanuki.
Oh, right. Yeah, didn't know what he was.
Which is just like a fucking weird squirrel thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, been in crippling debt to him because you bought a house Tom you clearly Nook, couldn't afford.
Tanuki. Did he just hit you now?
Yeah, it just hit
God,
me.
What an idiot. I have to, like, spell it out to you.
Moving on. I'm getting yelled at by a mole for not saving your game, for taking your console off.
I wonder if he's going to be back in this one, because he wasn't...
That was the worst thing, that he was, like, not in it.
Because he scared people.
Because he just burst out of the ground when you walked out of your house.
And people were like little kids got scared.
That you didn't save.
How dare you? No, it just looks really cool being able to, like, the new things that they add to it, like collecting resources, being able to, like, take those resources and craft things with the resources.
And the character customizations.
Yeah, you actually customize your character now, like, properly. You you're on an island, which is cool. You get to build a house, do all that stuff. But like I think the thing I'm most excited about with it is just the local co-op that they added to it. So at any time, like if Becca wanted to play with me, she could just like pull up, whip out a controller, go to her save character that she has, and play on our island together. Like we could have our houses on our island together and just do whatever. It's like it's so crazy that they added so much stuff to it. And apparently Isabelle is going to be in it again too, because for the Japanese promotion that they had, like the game case, it showed Isabelle from the last one on the case. So people are like, oh my god, she's back. That's like everyone's favorite fucking character is Isabelle, because she's just so adorable.
I don't know. My favorite character is still was he this dog that played guitar, Cafe.
Oh yeah,
he had a really dumb name.
No, he's like something cool or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. He had a really dumb name.
Cool McGee dude. I can't remember his name.
You know the guy I'm talking about.
Though. Yeah, the he plays a great guitar song and plays for you all the time. I mean, he's everyone's favorite. He's like the one that everyone knows, but he's probably going to be in it as well. I don't know. It's just going to be a good time sink, especially once like me and Becca wrapping up all of our Stardew adventures, coming into like a nice
fresh
chill Animal Crossing experience where like you can do the crafting, you do all that stuff. Like Animal Crossing has always been that, like if you play Harvest Moon because you're like, oh, I want to get rich and do the stuff and create stuff, and it's still a chill experience, but you play Animal Crossing and be like, I really just want to like take my time and
just relax,
do the things,
and just walk around and shake trees to get apples.
I mean, yes, that's about right. What else are we looking forward to? What's another game you're looking forward to?
I'm hyped for Crusader Kings 3.
It looks good from what I've seen. It does look good.
So hyped for it. I want to be able to have my most trusted advisor be an immortal horse with god powers.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, you can go insane in the games and like your options just turn ridiculous.
Do they have?
You can be a cannibal as well.
Can we like? Is it a multiplayer game? Like you could play like online versions of it?
I actually don't know. I've only ever played it like on a totally legally required download.
I don't totally legally.
Totally legal. Only
version of
only way
it.
I have got it.
Let me see here. It does have multiplayer modes. So like, is this?
Does. So it's like it's England and France, and it's like down as far as Rome as well. I think parts of Russia, and you pretty much choose your kingdom. So you're not playing as a whole country. You're playing as an individual kingdom.
So, are you saying that me and you can play this so I can get an idea of what Crusader Kings is like?
We totally could.
Like, are you saying, do you still have this game, or
no? But I could totally get it again
legally, very legally. We should check it out, and I want to play it because like I've been wanting to play a really good strategy game, but I like playing it with other people because like I like playing strategy games where we're all trying to like do stuff, and then like at any point we can work together, but then also at any point we can say like, listen, Linda, I need to build this road to go over here. I know it's not the best for you. I'm going to send a couple troops. They're going to take this base. We'll get over it. It's fine. We'll get over it. So I'm saying we should play this. We should play around this and stream us playing it.
That would be awesome. And I love it as well because it starts off such small scale. Like say you start off in England and you're playing a small kingdom in England. Because obviously England isn't united at this point in history. So it's split up. And you have to like grind your way through of like taking parts of England. And then all of a sudden you jump to like, oh, now I'm invading France.
Oh, that's good.
And it's the most daunting thing ever when you actually like, oh, I have to go to another country now.
Like, I don't know, it seems cool. The next one looks really good. It does look really good. And I want to try the second one to like, at least try the second one. Yeah. Or even the first one we can do it. Which one did you play? The first or second?
Two.
Kings 2, so yeah. we'll play it. We'll play it. Probably stream it, and we'll see if it's enjoyable. And then maybe I'll pick up the third one because it does look interesting. It looks like an interesting concept.
Very much so.
I mean, I think one thing that I think most people like a game that most people are looking forward to, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Never heard of it.
I believe it because you're a troglodyte that lives underneath a rock.
We totally didn't talk about it like 5 times on the podcast already.
Nah, you know nothing about it. No, what a lame-o.
What's a Final Fantasy?
How does one final their fantasy?
Is your
why is there a multiple of a Final Fantasy?
Yeah. Is your Final Fantasy like the thing you want most on your deathbed? Is that your Final Fantasy?
That is my Final Fantasy. But it's being released the first episode is being released March 3rd. I'm hoping the reason why they took so long to release this is because they were preemptively making more episodes, and so they're releasing the first episode March 3rd, and then maybe in a few months they release the next episode. We said this
before, that we hope they're doing that, and not like, oh, we spent all this time in episode 1, in 3 years you'll get episode 2.
It's a full game though, which is so weird. I don't know, it's so weird. I'm going to play the fuck out of this game.
Who isn't?
I have to play the fuck out of this game.
You have to. Even if you don't want to, you have to. You're legally obligated.
And I'm trying to decide if I want to play it in, like, the action mode, or if I want to do, like, the more classic turn-based, even though it's still a little different. I feel like I would enjoy the turn-based more. I don't know. It's so hard to say, because I'm so excited.
It's just a reason. It's just a reason for 2 playthroughs.
There you go. It's one of those things where you can't, no matter what your opinion is on how good of a Final Fantasy it is, it's a good game regardless. One of the best games of all time.
Without a doubt.
So it's going to be exciting to actually see that game in action.
Another one is, you scroll past it on our great list, Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, I don't know anything about that.
This game has been announced since a couple of years now. We've known about it.
2014, 2015, probably?
Thereabouts. And it's like medieval Japan, but it's an open world game. So it's like samurais and shit.
Oh, and I've heard about this.
The EG trailer for the guys running across the field on the horse.
Yeah.
That. They've been hyping it up so much.
Because it's supposed to be like actual... Is this the one where it's supposed to be like actual like samurai weapons and like combat, so it feels like actual samurai?
Real. Yeah. Like, so excited for it just because I think they've built up the anticipation for it so well, and the marketing has been so sparse but specific enough to, keep it ticking over in the background. That has just made me beyond excited for it, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Another one that I've seen here that kind of like I remember I've heard about before is that Godfall game.
By Gearbox.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a looter shooter, but it's supposed to be like a little bit more focused on multiplayer, so kind of like in a vein of Destiny or Anthem and stuff like that. I don't know.
Borderlands, but with more people.
Yes, Borderlands, but like it's also, doesn't it have like a weird theme to it? You know what I mean? It's not like it's a
Gearbox game, so it's going to be weird.
But it doesn't have that same like sci-fi universe, I don't think. And so it looked interesting from what I saw on it. There you go, gothic looking third person looter slasher.
Yeah, and it's third person as well.
So that did look interesting when I saw it. I don't know how well it's actually going to play out, but it did look interesting. But I think a game that I'm actually just super excited for, ever since it was announced, Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to be terrified playing this game, to be honest, in VR, because I don't like scary... That comes out wrong.
Cody...
I like horror games...
is a little bitch.
I like horror games, but playing them just like makes me feel horrible but good at the same time, right? I like the story.
That's the point.
I like the story, but the horror aspect of it sometimes really fucks with me, and I get scared, which is fine.
I remember you playing Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. Do you?
I do.
You were Rebecca playing it.
You played it for a while, didn't you?
I played it before I came to Ireland and everything like that.
I thought you took over one of the streams at one point.
I did for a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But at that point, I was perfectly fine because I was just like, I gotta go. I was like, it's fine. It wasn't the same.
You could still see how tense you were.
Yeah, you get the tense,
even if you're used to it.
So
the stiff neck.
Yeah. So I'm a little worried because we all know that there's gonna be like spooky headcrab stuff going on in Half-Life. And playing the VR version of a headcrab jumping at you is going to be more intense than I think most people want to experience, or having a zombie run at you.
Even the zombies just creeping out from around a corner.
Oh, I don't want that. And if there's a fast zombie in the game running at me, I'm going to fucking shit myself.
I'll need to be able
the screams that they do.
I'll need to be able to throw the crowbar, so when it's running towards me, I can throw it at it and then just flail wildly.
Oh, it just sounds, and it's so immersive in VR. But I'm going to play through Half-Life 1 and the Half-Life 2 episodes before I play it. So I'm trying to get to it. I want to play the Black Mesa.
I was going to say that. Are you going to play the Black Mesa version?
I want to play the Black Mesa version. I'm waiting for it to like maybe get a good sale or something that I can get on it so I can pick it up. But yeah, Half-Life Alyx. I think everyone's kind of excited for that at this point. It just looks so good. Sales of VR headsets have went up from it. Like, it's just nuts.
Yeah, so one for me would definitely be Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
As an Xbox gamer, Halo is a big thing for me.
People love Halo, and it's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't gotten much on the way of information about it, but it's supposed to be coming out in 2020. So I found that weird that there's not a lot of information yet. Kerbal Space Program 2 is something that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in. I only played a little bit of the first one, and it's so fucking complicated.
I played it to death.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
On my legally acquired download.
It's a fun little game. Last of Us Part 2.
Obviously, big one. I think everyone on Earth is kind of excited for that.
Yeah. Now, this one wasn't officially said that it was going to come out in 2020, but we're pretty sure Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be out in 2020.
Is this the first time we've got a direct sequel to a Zelda game?
Yes.
As in, like, a 2 after it?
Technically, yes. Like something that takes place right after another one.
Like, we're continuing the story of the last one. It's a direct sequel, not even a name change.
Pretty sure it's happened with one of the older ones, technically, but it wasn't as...
obvious.
Direct of a sequel, yeah. So this is the first time. I think everyone's excited for Breath of the Wild 2. You know what? If it's the same type of gameplay, but just...
with more stuff,
I'd
be okay with that.
People would be completely fine with it. I'd be fine with it. But I do think that they are going to do a little bit of differences with it. And I think there's going to be a mechanic of having Zelda with you. Yeah. Which would be really cool to have, awesome, like a little partner. Yes, I think that
maybe the possibility of co-op.
If they could, oh yeah, that'd be nuts. That might be why they're, doing it the way that
it might be like the exact same graphics and gameplay wise, but then they throw co-op into the mix.
Oh my god, that'd be nuts.
That'd be dope.
That'd be
and then you could
amazing.
swap it out, so you could have like Zelda be your co-op partner, but then like, what's the guy? The Gorgon guy, the really big guy.
The Goron.
There you go. Gorgon.
The Gorgon. He turns people to stone.
Yeah. You could have like him as like your character. It's like the main like player plays as Link, and then the secondary character can play as like anyone, like the different people.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty dope.
That'd be awesome. I'm excited for it. The more I think about it, the more excited I am to play Breath of the Wild 2. You have Marvel's Avengers.
I'm actually kind of excited for that. It looks pretty interesting.
It looks alright. It looks something that's worthwhile to check out.
They did their redesigns of it, which I thought was very juice to them. It was like less than a year till the game's release, and they redesigned the characters because people didn't like it.
They did end up redesigning the characters?
Yeah,
oh
they
my
changed
God.
them. They changed how they look. They altered them. So
to what? Look more like the...
Pretty much fix the issues people had with them. So people are like, oh, Black Widow looks, too old, and Bruce Banner doesn't look like Bruce Banner. And they went through and they changed it all.
That's good then. I mean, like, if they did like good minor fixes too.
Oh yeah,
like...
it wasn't like overhauls, but they did make the small adjustments to them.
That's cool. I mean, it's gonna be like the typical what you'd expect out of superhero games. So people that
like
that sort of stuff.
Like Batman Arkham games, but with Marvel heroes.
A game that I actually am like I forgot that was coming out that I'm more excited for than I thought is New World. That's by Amazon. That was like developing the MMO.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like it's an MMO with survival type elements to it, like in terms of exploring, resource collecting,
that's original.
And stuff like that. Except it's cool because it's literally like an MMORPG, but you have these crafting elements, which is like, okay, a couple of games have done that in a similar vein, but you scavenge resources, craft tools, build bases, but then you build those bases and then you fight other teams of, like, you get teams of people together and you like create like these
clans.
Teams and clans and stuff like that, and then you fight and try to gain territory from other people and like the NPC enemies in it. And if it's actually like kind of set in a way that's got like an MMO, like an RPG sort of feel to it, I feel like that'd be really cool. But I don't know. I know that the more that they've worked on it, the more it's kind of went towards a survival game, which is like, okay, there's lots of those.
Fair enough.
But But, you know, we'll see how it goes in terms of, like, the what is it, like, the open world sort of MMO aspect of it. Like, if it's all just one big map in an MMO thing, and it's, like, few servers, and it's more just, like, this is the game, then that'd be, I think, pretty cool.
And when it comes to, like, survival, like, multiplayer games these days, the most important part is the quote-unquote endgame.
Yeah.
So how does the game change once you can survive? So like games like Rust tend to stagnate when you get to that part because there's not much to go after.
No, it's just about messing with people.
But then you look at games like, I don't know if you've ever played, I think it's called Atlas.
I've heard about it.
Open world pirate game where you can like craft stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
It's like it starts off, gathering your materials and the such. But late game, it's like you have like an armada of ships and you could be merchants and you could be pirates and it just evolves to like almost a completely different game in the late game.
Yeah, I think that stuff is what can give those survival crafting games life, is to have those things where you have an end game to keep wanting to play, or like you have like nuances that other ones don't have.
Exactly.
I have to see how it is. I mean, at the end of the day, those survival crafting games are generally pretty fun. So you're at least going to have people that get some enjoyment out of it. Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Of course.
Of course, everyone's going to be excited for that.
Especially with Project Resistance coming with it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, it's gonna be really good.
You got a double dip there.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably play the shit out of Resistance. It just looks fun.
Same.
It looks interesting and fun.
Honestly, yeah.
So,
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six
Quarantine.
A game that I'm pretty sure has been based off. It was a Halloween game mode for Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, it was. The game mode was spawned off of a limited time event that happened in Siege.
I remember that game mode. It was really fun.
A 3-player tactical co-op first-person shooter that tasks teams of operators to work and fight together against some spooky goblins.
Yeah.
I'd play it.
It's pretty fun.
I'd play it.
Wasteland 3.
I still need to play Wasteland 2. And 1, technically.
Wasteland 2 is on Game Pass.
Is it?
Yeah. The director's cut as well. Wasteland 3, I already have it downloaded.
When did it come out?
I actually don't even know.
With a budget 3 times larger than that of its 5-year-old predecessor. Huh. I don't know, it looks interesting.
And then it's a good, like, what's the term? Isometric RPG, kind of like the old Fallouts.
Yeah. I've heard good things. Watch Dogs Legions. I know some people are probably pretty excited for that.
I'm actually kind of excited for just mainly how the game's going to play.
Yeah, it's been going for so long.
You don't have a main character and you can jump around from people.
Yeah.
Like, this character has a heart condition, so he could drop dead at any moment.
So, like, is it literally like you just go into certain people? Is that it?
It's like, remember Driver San Francisco?
No.
Where you could, like, pan out the map, like, zoom up, and then jump into any car you wanted?
Nope, I never played it.
Never played Driver? But anyways, it's kind of like that, where you can pretty much just jump into any NPC.
What's the premise behind it? You're some sort of god?
No, I think it's more so like a revolution's been started.
So
it's like you could play as anyone because anyone could be in this revolution. That's their mentality. It's like, so when you chop into a character, they'll take out a mask and put on a mask, and then you can go out and do all your
That's cool.
Cool shit. But it has like, if you control like an old lady, you move really slow, but you're less likely to be detected by guards because they don't notice the old lady.
You don't think that someone would notice like an old lady inside of like a secret base or something like that? Just going
about.
I'm just here to bring cookies to the workers.
But apparently sometimes, like, if you get caught as like the old lady, they'll just escort you out of the area instead of just shooting you on sight.
Come on now, lady. Grandma. I love the old people.
Are you my grandson?
So yeah. Sounds fun.
I think game-wise, that's everything that I'm genuinely excited for.
I think that's it. What about movies or TV shows or something like that? You got anything that's
movies? Isn't the new season Mandalorian like end of 2020?
Probably. They're not going to go further.
Pretty sure it's fall of 2020.
Because this is they probably want to keep it fresh, and then usually the first season after the first they come out, like for any show they come out quick.
Oh, season 2 Witcher will have till 2021.
Like I said, usually, well, Netflix, those series are different because they release them all at the same time.
Yeah, it's true.
When it's episodic, you can
kind of space
fudge it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Fudge it?
Fudge it. You never heard that?
No.
It's like fudge it. Like you fuck with it a little bit. You can make it a little, like you change it a little bit. You never heard of fudge it?
No, I understand.
What do you learn in your schools, you young whippersnappers?
We learn about The famine.
Did you actually learn about the famine?
Oh, yeah.
Is that it was like a big topic?
It was a big topic, especially in primary school.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, movies would be probably Tenet, Christopher Nolan's new movie.
Don't know anything about it.
Robert Pattinson in it. It's like a time-bending thriller.
That sounds interesting.
It's pretty cool. You got The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie's new movie. Has like Charlie Hunnam in it. Colin Farrell. Some good gangster action.
I haven't heard about any of these.
Mulan.
Mulan.
I'm looking forward to Mulan. Just because it looks like, your run-of-the-mill, Eastern action movie. Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where everyone defies gravity and floats.
Oh, that sounds fun then.
Yeah. Obviously, the movie of the year, Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hell yeah.
Probably the one that I'm looking forward to more than anything.
It's so terrible to say it, but it's true. I have all the movies that
the rise and fall and the rise again of
and then the
Sonic.
The bankruptcy of the CGI studio.
Yeah, well, when you had to put in all that extra work to fix people's mistakes and then they don't pay you anything for it, you probably...
So I'm definitely going to go see it. I'm going to go see that in cinema. I'm going to actually spend the money.
Oh, yeah.
Buy a ticket. Go see it.
When does it come out? March or April?
I thought it was February.
What?
Yeah, I thought it was in February. Just Google Sonic, that'll get you.
February 14th! Oh, damn. I'm going to be in the States having some popcorn, drinking some beer at my seat, watching Sonic.
Hell yeah. Sonic. Gotta paint yourself.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Gotta paint yourself blue for it as well.
I'm just gonna be like, gotta go fast and have like little. I'm gonna put like brushes on my back so it looks like I have like quills, and I'm just gonna walk really slow, but like look like I'm walking fast places.
I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray and only watch at 2x speed.
I'm gonna ask them while they're playing the film if they can crank up the speed to like 2 times just so I can watch it in theaters.
Even 1.5, so it's awkwardly faster.
But only the parts that show Sonic, and then everything else they have to turn it back down.
No, they turn it down to like 0.5 speed, so it's slower.
That'd be good.
Make it happen.
Anything else that tickles your fancy?
I feel like there was something else, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. That's all the big ones anyways.
Yeah, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. Other than like the ones that I think I know there's a couple that like the most popular ones that I think most people think about that are coming out that me and you of course don't think about because we're thinking about Sonic.
Yeah.
The Sonic movie.
It's like we forgot every other movie. It's like, nope, just Sonic.
But yeah, okay. So in terms of 2020, this is something I was saying to someone the other day, but 2020 is like a year, especially so for gaming.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like 2017 you did pretty okay, but like 2018 and 2019, it was like It was like, okay. Yeah. It was like standard, right?
Yeah.
But 2020 is going to be the year for like
the scale of games we have coming out this year is ridiculous. As well as a new generation of consoles as well.
It's going to be absolutely nuts.
And the possibility of the new format for E3 this year as well.
Oh yeah, with like a kind of little bit more of an entertainer, social focus to it, which I think might help it, because the problem is that it used to be all for, the companies, and then when they started allowing people to come, like, oh, you can come check it out, it became like a social gathering, and then it became, I don't know, just a place to talk about just games.
Video games, yeah.
And then, like, when it became just to talk about video games, it was fine. There was still social gathering, but it started to, like, drop off in popularity because it just... like, everyone could get that information somewhere else, and they didn't have enough keeping it new and fresh. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of format that they decide to do for 2020.
You could probably expect a special E3 edition of the podcast if we survive that long.
Oh, we'll survive.
If Rapture doesn't occur and we all fall into a fiery pit.
Or
if we go see the Sonic movie and have seizures because it's so good.
Or if America doesn't nuke Ireland for saying that golf course bad.
Golf course bad. We're not cavemen, you know?
Oh boy. I have nothing to say to that. So we're going on from our topic. Let's go into something with a little levity here. So apparently, in Red Dead Redemption 2's texture files, there was a Switch Pro controller, like, decal thing sort of hidden in their files.
Yeah.
And there was some speculation that it might mean, what? Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out for Switch? Maybe actually make people want to play the game?
Hey, people do play the game.
More than they do?
Yeah.
I'm saying
more than it was released anyways.
So there's a data miner that found out there's a Nintendo Switch Pro controller hidden in the Red Dead Redemption 2's textures.
Do you think he puts data miner on his CV?
I would. You just wouldn't say for what companies, otherwise you'd get a bunch of legal action. And so you had a few people that were like, oh my god, Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to come out on a Switch port, obviously. Oh my god, it's so amazing, I'm going to play this. I mean, like...
Cool your beans.
It doesn't mean anything at the moment, because, yes, you know, the Switch was able to run The Witcher 3, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is newer and has more stuff in it than I think The Witcher 3 has.
Witcher doesn't have to deal with, like, the intense physics engine.
And
like
also
NPCs been like going about and things like that.
Especially as much in terms of like what the NPCs need to do about their daily lives. There is that in The Witcher.
Yeah, but it's
not as
easier.
Fine-tooth combed, I think.
Yeah,
it's
isolated,
to like a Rockstar game.
Or in Rockstar games, like there's NPCs scattered like in the wilderness as well.
That are always doing something.
Yeah, even when you're not looking at them.
So, and I mean, Rockstar themselves have said like, you know, it's not that it's completely outside of their realm of possibility to be able to create like something like that, and they would love to have it on a Switch, but like it's just something that you just wouldn't see anytime soon, anyways, right? Yeah. And unless there's like an updated version, I would say, of a Switch, you probably definitely wouldn't see it.
Do you think they'd call it Red Dead Switch Redemption?
No, I think they'd call it Switch Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh, that's even better.
Because the Switch isn't dead because it's being redemptioned by...
What about Red Switch Redemption?
Red Switch
for just the red Joy-Con.
What about Red Dead Redemption Switch
Edition. 2.
But no 2 in there.
Oh,
so it confuses people.
So it's just the first game then.
It sounds like it's the first game, but it's not. It's just the Switch version of...
Or just Red Dead Switch and they release Red Dead Revolver on it.
Yeah. So people that actually took a step back and like realized what it was. They thought, okay, it's the Steam's version of them, like the saying that they're showing support for Switch Pro controller inside of the Steam version of the game, which is obvious. You know what I mean? Because it already supports Xbox One and PS4 controllers.
Yeah.
So Switch Pro is going to be coming more and more to games as like people use it more. So they want to have pro support for it. Would you play Red Dead Redemption 2 if it was on the Switch?
If it was running on the Switch well, or at least okay enough?
If it was running how The Witcher 3 runs.
Without a doubt. If I could have a mobile version of Red Dead Redemption 2...
It'd make it better, because then you could, like, walk around and just do whatever.
Like, sit on the toilet and play Red Dead Redemption 2.
There's nothing better than having that portability. I don't care what anybody says, the Switch is...
Being able to play games on the toilet is the future.
And then being able to immediately afterwards not wash your hands and stick your console back into the TV and play it full screen is the future. The future is now. No, you don't have hands to wipe. No. They're too busy on the Switch.
You don't even put your trousers back up. You just waddle back out because you don't want to take your hands off the controller.
You just are naked all the time in your house. Yeah. Poo-poo old poo-poo dries and falls from your buttocks as you walk around your house. The future is now.
Oh God, what have we done?
Going on from that. Speaking about the future is now and poo-pooing while you're walking through your house naked.
Pooing in VR.
Is the future. And you can do that while playing Boneworks, the VR game that outpaced Beat Saber to 100,000 units sold and earns an estimated $3 million in its first week of being released.
Which is ridiculous for VR games.
So, if you don't know Boneworks, it's basically an action physics adventure game, which if you're playing VR, I don't know why they keep saying, like, I don't know why games keep being classified as physics. I know it's so people go like, ooh, but like VR games are physics. Yeah. Like, most of them have some element to physics because
you can pick things up and then throw it across the room and it bounces, and you're like, oh my God!
A VR game needs to have physics almost, otherwise it's not VR, it's... Why would you play it then? So, yes, Bowlers is an action physics adventure game that did really well in terms of how it was receped and how it sold. I mean, making 3 million and having 100,000 players in its first week for a VR game is nuts.
Nearly unheard of for VR games.
Especially because, like I was saying to Kyle before...
That's me.
Yep. Like I was saying to Kyle before we started recording the podcast, is you have people that play VR but don't play it consistently. It's more that thing that they wait until something comes up that they want to play.
Yeah, until they see something that pops up on their feed and they go, oh, that's cool.
And so when they see that this is out and it's doing so well and it's gotten the traction that it has, because I've been seeing GIFs of it and videos left and right. And when you see that and you're like, oh, I have a VR headset, and you're like, oh, I'm going to pick this up. It increases the amount of players that you get. You're making more money.
Just a snowball effect.
This just compounds onto what we've said, right? Because of Half-Life Alyx being announced and then having actual games starting to come out, you have the amount of adopters in VR headsets has increased.
Yeah.
And because of that, you get sales increase. And it's all comes down back to what we said. VR is not dying. People are still... This is the same thing with people talking about how... You remember when people were saying desktop gaming was dying? Does anybody remember that?
Yeah, that was a thing for a while.
Desktop computer gaming is dying and consoles are the only way to go. And so it's you look at this and it's no, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but this isn't something where, especially because it costs so much money to develop these games still, until they get some a more proprietary software that's just but not less proprietary really, and more coming to a standard.
It was like making games for consoles when they first came out. It cost a lot of money until they got that, And
that's why there was only 6 studios that constantly put out, 6 publishers that just constantly bought up the few big companies, and that's why you see these conglomerates of people that still exist to this day that just created these games, and that's all you ever saw. The only people you ever saw were Activision was always around. You had what is it? Fucking what's it called? Not Acclaim. Why am I thinking of Acclaim?
You can do this.
The same
THQ.
Yeah, THQ was definitely one of them. It is Acclaim. Remember when Acclaim was a thing? And they're one of the only ones that always release stuff, and now you never hear about them because I think they got bought up or something.
Yeah, they got bought probably by THQ, who then...
They did get bought by THQ, actually.
Wait, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, my joke.
No, they did get... I think that's accurate. But yeah, these... So you had these, just a group, and they just constantly release games because they're the only way to pay for it. It was so expensive, the only way to pay for it was to have a publisher that would pay for it.
How you do is you look at the timeline. They started making games for computers. That was expensive. When it got cheaper, you started seeing independent games being made for computers. Consoles were released. Console games were expensive to make. Then you started seeing independent console games.
Yeah.
VR's released. VR games are going to be expensive. But the only difference is, at the moment, they're being pioneered by indie developers.
And that's the biggest issue.
And they need the big companies to come in to make the overall production cheaper so we can make more games for them.
This is the whole reason why Valve is now so into... They said right when VR started coming out that they were going to get into it, right?
Yeah.
They just took their time because they take their time with everything. They released a couple of smaller things that...
Half-Life, Portal, Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. And so... They're finally dipping their toes in. They're saying we're fucking doing this. VR is what we see.
Yeah,
it's what we see the world becoming.
We said that the handheld is the future. VR is actually the future.
Yeah.
Not being able to play games while pooping, but being able to put on your VR headset and anywhere be the toilet.
If there's a toilet in VR and you can squat, you can poop.
Exactly. That is the real future. That's like Star Trek shit right there.
So super cool. I know that we keep talking about the VR, but this is just, it's a game that sells for $30 US dollars, making 3 million in its first week is nuts.
I'm looking forward to see what Half-Life Alyx is going to do in its first week.
I guarantee you.
Make an estimate, make a number. It's coming out February, March?
I would say it's going to be a $60 game, I think. So
I think it might be a bit cheaper. I think it might be 50.
It might be. But I would say it'll definitely at least make 5 million. We're talking about first week. It'll at least make the price. It'll make what Boneworks is making, right? But at least. But what I actually project, if you're telling me to give like an actual estimate of what I think,
first week,
I would say 10. I would say no, because of the amount of VR adopters that are going into it and the people that know it. I'm actually going to say I'll say 15 million.
You're gonna go 15 million in its first week?
I'm gonna go. It's hard. So many people are clamoring for this.
Yeah.
In this game was $30 and sold. It made 3 million from 100,000 players, and I would say Half-Life Alyx is going to have at least 300 to 400,000 players.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
in the first week.
I was gonna say at the least 250 to 500.
Mm-hmm. So, and if it's 250, and let's actually just cut the difference and say that they sell it for $45 a piece. And you're having, at the low point of 250,000 people that buy this. That's 11 mil.
Yeah.
So, I would say, I'm gonna go high and say that we're looking somewhere between 10 and 15, but I'm gonna lean more. I'm gonna just say, if you're forcing my hand, I'll say 15. Because I'm thinking people are going to buy this. The VR adopters are going to, like the people that have VR are going to buy this, but I guarantee you there's going to be people that find a way to play this without it being in VR.
Oh, yeah.
Because they want to play it that bad. Because they're going to feel like it's not fair that they can't play it. So they're going to come out with a mod or something that lets you kind of play it.
Yeah. Then if you're going to say 15, I'll say 10.
Okay.
And we'll see who wins.
Yeah, we'll see where this difference splits at. Yeah, because it's
watch it come out and be like 25.
I say for both of us in the first week, Half-Life Alyx, we both can agree that they're gonna make at least probably like 5 to 8, right?
I'd say
that's the low ball.
I'd say they make 8 as a minimum in their first week.
But like you're gonna go a lower value of 10 of like what you think in the first week. I'm gonna go 15 for the higher. I agree that it's probably definitely going to be in the 10 to 15, but I'll say higher just because I'm hoping that this is.
And I feel like it's something that's going to build over time as well. Because if it'll be like 10 to 15 in their first week, but I'll see them doing like 15 to 20 in their second week.
Because if we looked at the VR purchases, didn't we look at this and let me look here.
Oh yeah, the VR purchases they skyrocketed after the announcement of Alyx.
All right, so I'm looking at a bunch of information. It's kind of hard to find it. I know that I had seen an article on this before.
Yeah, we talked about it on one of the podcasts.
Yeah, but for one, the Valve Index sold out before Christmas because of Half-Life Alyx, okay? And then I do have a couple of...
You could at least say that they've sold in the past 3 months over, 100,000 units easy.
Oh yeah, because, what was it? From June 27th of 2019, so that's 6 months ago, the amount of VR headset sales were at 7.6 million, and that's across all. And it is AR as well, so let's just say if you take out AR being some of like the weird things, like maybe certain types of phones or like little things like that.
Right, round it to like a solid 7 mil.
You're looking at, about 7 mil. Roughly, is what you'd say, and that was from June. Okay?
Yeah.
June 27th of 2019. So, the point that I'm getting at here is that if Boneworks can sell to 100,000 players in its first week, 3 million worth of revenue, that Half-Life Alyx
is going to clear that easy.
Easy.
I think they'll make, 3 million in their first day.
Yeah. I would say it has 100,000 people buy it in the first day.
Yeah, I can see that happen.
Now, will in the first week, do I think that it'll continue to sell? I think most people will buy it the first 3 days, if they're able to.
How many do you think they'll sell in 3 months?
I would say that if they sold 1 million copies in their first 3 months, they'd be doing just as well as Untitled Goose Game did.
Oh, really?
So, Untitled Goose Game, the game that came out for the Switch and now is...
It's on a console as well now.
Console.
It's on Xbox Game Pass, I believe. Well, I don't believe, I know. I downloaded
it. Did it only come out on Switch? I thought that was what everyone was playing it on, was just a Switch.
No, it's on 100% on Xbox.
But was it always?
No, it's only a recent release. Released on Xbox in December.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, in its first 3 months, it sold 1 million copies. And it was how much money?
Ooh, I actually don't know. Again, I didn't buy it. I got it through Game Pass.
Yeah. Which, by the way, these sales figures were confirmed to not include Game Pass downloads.
These were actual sales, not just Game Pass downloads.
So if you're buying Untitled Goose Game for the Switch, and I think it probably came out on Steam as well, right?
Yep.
$20.
$20. Damn.
It got so much exposure, though, so it makes sense. So $20...
You're such a meme.
Oh no. I'm being stupid. 1 million copies. So at 1 million copies of it, at $20... 20 million.
Handy.
20 million.
Just, like, that's...
The creators that made this little indie sort of weird goose game.
Yeah.
That's not even that long, but it's charming.
Or that complicated to make, even.
It's charming, and it had, like, all the love into it. Made 20 million. They're making another one of these.
Oh,
something similar.
Without a doubt.
Something similar. I don't think it'll necessarily
it'll be Goose,
game.
But it'll be Untitled Other Animal Game.
Yeah. It's...
like Untitled Cat Game, where you just knock stuff off tables.
It's... it's nuts. That's it. They did so good, and to be honest, I think they deserved it because they put a lot of effort into this.
And it's such a fantastic game. It's so fun to play.
People, I mean, like, you had so many YouTubers and stuff like that going through and playing it, and streamers, just for the fun that it inspired and, like, what it was, you know?
I remember sitting down Christmas Eve before we went to Mass, and I was playing it.
Really?
And it's like, the sister was sitting beside me, and Mum was there too, I think, and they're just watching me play it. And it's rare that would happen, where I'd just be playing a game and they'd just be walking past and just stop and watch it.
And just grab you're just a goose grabbing a shovel, stealing it, running away.
Like I was stealing sandwiches. It was like the first level. And I was like trying to steal the sun hat, and it's like, it was immediately encapsulated in it.
I still need to check it out, but like, it's just nuts. And it's so inspiring to see that you can get your stuff out there if you put enough effort, dedication, and love into something.
Yeah, if you love what you're making, other people will love it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it always is, though, right? With everything.
Once you actually believe in what you're making again, you'll see that people will start to play it again.
Yeah, pretty much.
And a good example of that, you might argue, is the new Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
So the new Modern Warfare game, which for most people it was a resounding success, right?
Yeah. So I've played it myself. I've played the campaign, I've played some of the multiplayer, some of the co-op. So fun. Actually feels like they're putting effort into it again.
So many people are playing this game too. It's doing so well. Like, people are loving this game. And
that can be seen in their sales, as well as the amount of players playing. So it is the most played Call of Duty since 2012, I think it said.
Yeah, and that's in terms of hours played, hours per player, and average daily players.
So, like, the whole spectrum.
And that's in the first 50 days since launch.
Which is crazy, and it's earned over $1 billion in sales.
$1 billion in sales.
And do you want to know something that I'm 95% sure it doesn't have? Is microtransactions.
At least not in any meaningful way.
So it has the battle pass, and that's it.
And they didn't even... See, the thing is, Activision didn't specify whether that sales figure accounted for battle passes. It might not.
Exactly, that might have just been base game sales. Which, if it is, that's ridiculously good, especially for Call of Duty that came out recently.
You know why it did well, though? Like, let's be honest here. It's because
it's Modern Warfare?
Well, it listened to what people wanted. Yeah. There's not a shit ton of microtransactions. No. There's not a shit ton of... They've already talked about how they're not releasing a bunch of DLC that you have... Like maps that you have to pay for that you can't...
If they release new maps, they're free. Everyone gets them.
They're doing what everybody's always wanted all along, right?
And they brought back the Spec Ops game modes, so the co-op.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone loved that. That was the best part of, like, the old Modern Warfare games.
So it's just... It's doing well. They made smart decisions, and now they have over $1 billion in sales. How many games can say after 50 days of being released that it has over $1 billion made in sales?
And you know what? It's probably going to jump up again even further, because there's been a few leaks and rumor going around that they are adding a Battle Royale game mode, just as a part of the game.
I thought they already had that. Did they not?
No, it's not in the game yet.
Oh.
But there's rumor going around that it's doing... Apparently
you would have people that would want that.
Apparently someone data mined the game and they found the map for it.
Why? God, I'm so tired of Battle Royale. I know people love it, but having it there, but still... God.
At least they're not making a whole game around it. Cough, cough. Black Ops 4.
Yeah, that's true. The only good thing about it was apparently the Battle Royale.
Yeah. That's all it really was. That's all it is now, anyways.
Yeah. But speaking about, for the final time, doing good.
Yeah, everyone's doing good. It's a great way to start the year for a lot of people.
To be honest, like, having this be the first podcast of the year.
And it's been nothing but success stories.
Being success stories is awesome. I love seeing this. Like, to be honest, no controversy. We haven't even had a controversy in a little while. Like, I feel like
not like actual controversy.
Yeah, I think that we've been doing pretty well in the world of gaming at the moment. And that's how I feel like the world should be, is we're celebrating success and not constant failures.
Yeah, like the biggest controversy has been the name of the new Xbox. And that's just the name. People are still praising everything else about it.
Yeah, and I mean, the last controversy I feel like we talked about was something related to Blizzard.
It was Blizzard. No, the last thing we talked about was the Epic Games settlement.
Yeah.
The harassment one. And that was a success story as well, though. That was it been settled and everyone getting the payouts.
Yep.
So, we've been on a good streak.
So, on this continuation of positivity for 2020, CD Projekt Red, who hasn't really released... I mean, like, they released the Switch version of Witcher 3.
Witcher 3 and had Gwent and Thronebreaker, the almost, like, campaign version of Gwent.
Right. But, like, overall, in terms of how well that's done, has been, like...
It's done well.
Yeah,
but
it's done what it's needed to be, be relevant.
Yeah, but no, like, big AAA releases that would,
No releases, like, huge releases. No, like, not even anything that they've constantly been just pushing or even.
No.
You know what I mean? And they've just talked about Cyberpunk 2077, and that's really about it. And because of this, they're, in a decade... In 10 years, their stock increased 21,000%.
Which is crazy to think that it was a small Polish studio that had 6 people at the start when they made the first Witcher game. There was a handful of people in a basement. And look at them now.
And it's like, in this year alone, where they've, like we said, they haven't really released anything. And like, in terms of what they've released in 10 years, it still really hasn't been like a crazy amount of stuff. It's been one...
When did Witcher 3 come out?
2 games?
Witcher 3 was their last big release.
17? 16?
16, I feel like. 16 feels right. I was still in school.
15.
2015. There you go. So the last one was 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Almost 5 years, because it was in May, so...
Yeah, that's just around the corner, yeah.
4.5 years ago was their last major release of a game, like a big release. And... to be honest, that was their only huge release.
Yeah, like Witcher 2 did well, but it did well to people who already liked The Witcher.
Yeah. And so you have this small company that just became this, like, huge, pretty much, I don't even know, like...
Goliath, when it comes to, like, RPG games now, open world RPGs.
In the last year.
They're one of those names now.
In the last year, where it's released nothing for the 3rd year in a row, 4th, other than, like, obviously small Gwent and stuff like that. But like, in terms of no major AAA release in the last 4 years, other than that Switch port, 86% increase in their stock.
Which is massive. And a lot of that is helped with the fact of the Witcher TV show dropping.
So people talking about it, getting into it, people like it, which means that people will like...
People replaying the games, picking up the games for the first time.
Then you have the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 is coming up. It's looking great. Like, you know what I mean? It's... They're saying that in 2020, the estimated company's revenue may soar over 845 million.
I think it'll be even...
Which is 4 times higher than what their record was in 2015.
I think it'll even be higher.
I think it could be.
I think with Cyberpunk, I think it'll be huge.
It could be. It could be. It
as well as with the rumors going around with them renewing their license for Witcher games.
Are they? I mean, is the creator of that going to like continue to let them do that stuff after all that controversy?
Well, probably he gets a paycheck at the end of it.
Yeah, but he'll probably make them like do a better deal this time, huh?
Yeah, but to them, it was like if he asked for like what I want 3 million. To them, what's that going to be?
Yeah, but he won't say that now. Now he'll ask for royalties.
That's true. That is true. I'm pretty sure he's getting royalties off the show.
Yeah, because he knows better now.
Yeah, they're adapting the books. So he's like, yeah, you gotta... I feel like if they come to our deal, it'd be really easy for them.
Give them 50% and you'd still be making gangbusters.
Huge amount. Huge amount.
So, yeah, it's just surprising to see how such a small company in the last 10 years has turned into one of the top European stock companies.
It's so cool to see, especially for somewhere like Poland that wouldn't have a huge amount of, say, game developer studios.
Yeah.
And would have, like, critical acclaim. They have one of the biggest in the world now.
Like, it's nuts because it's just such a strong change in the amount that they've made.
Yeah.
Just such a strong change. Right. Going up against people like...
Who is that graph?
Which one?
The top one.
That's Blizzard.
The drop on it. We're looking at a stock graph that has a CD Projekt Red, EA, Activision, Blizzard, sorry.
Middle of 2018.
And Ubisoft. In the middle of 2018, Blizzard just goes flatline down.
So did EA though, as well. There's a pretty good dive as well. Oh. But now they're both starting to make their way back up.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to see. Yeah, we looked at, this is a Bloomberg article in case anybody's wondering, which they were pretty smart on watching stock exchanges and stuff like that. And actually, if you look at this,
Blizzard's up.
Blizzard's at $60 a share. EA is at $107 a share. Jesus. Sony's at
7,400.
That's for in yen.
Oh.
And how much is 74 yen to US dollars? 68.
Not too shabby.
That's not bad. I mean, it's Sony. They do release so much shit, you know what I mean? And then Microsoft, 157 for their stock. So it's wow, it's crazy seeing, though, like we said, just this fucking little Polish company becoming one of the conglomerates. Really.
Yeah, thought by pure fluke got the rights to make a game to a book only Polish people had really read at the time. We had 5 people that made it in a basement. They didn't sleep for 5 months.
Yeah. Killed themselves.
Came to a critical acclaim, ended up getting the chance to make a sequel. That was even bigger. Then made a third one. And now are like a household name when it comes to gaming.
A third one that they really went on a limb for because they put so much effort into it when the first and the second games actually did. The first game did alright. The second game did decent. But
they made their money back, but it wasn't a major amount.
No, so that means that everything that they put into 3 was everything that they had.
That if 3 flopped, they would have been done.
Pretty much, because it was just so much effort put in.
But it paid off.
And going on from that, really, we go into a topic about The Witcher.
Huh.
And we are talking about now the Netflix show.
Yes, with Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia. So,
you might as well just talk real quick how you feel about the show.
I loved it.
And how most people feel, which is most people love it, except for critics.
Yeah, it was 8 episodes. People who like the Witcher books seem to be liking the show. People who like the games seem to be liking the show. People who don't know either seem to be liking the show.
But people who think that, first of all, like I said, critics are the biggest ones. You can look at Metacritic, if you look at the difference between the user review score and actually, let's just do it real quick.
And a big thing that I've seen as well is that a lot of people going into it who probably don't know The Witcher that well went into it expecting something closer to akin of Game of Thrones, whereas Witcher is a lot more fantasy than that. That it deals with things like destiny and fate and really much more, fantastical things.
So looking at The Witcher on like Rotten Tomatoes, you have the critics score being 60%, but you have the average audience score being 93%.
It says it all. That's
a 33% difference in comparison to like what rating it's gotten in terms of like what the people that watch it think and what the people who are there to criticize it think.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the reviews that it has on Netflix, it's out of 25,000 ratings, it's a 4.8 that it's sitting at,
which is huge.
Which is one of the highest rated Netflix originals ever.
But some of the reviews been like, as a massive Witcher fan, I was like surprised, love everything. Like, people are loving the show.
I mean, like, what more can be said except for the fact that, like, it's got controversy in terms of, like, mixed reviews about it. But the mixed reviews from the people that don't like it are usually, I'm tired of fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I get that.
Like, overly valid reviews of it either. It's more so, like, I personally didn't like this aspect. Yeah, it's like, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
That's why reviews are bad, because
it's like, I don't like a certain type of music, but the music isn't bad.
Yeah, literally.
Like, I'm not a big techno guy, but I don't think techno music's bad.
Yeah, it's a big thing where it all comes down to reviews, right?
Yeah,
it all comes down to reviews. So yep, The Witcher is the most in-demand streaming show in the world.
Yeah, which is an impressive thing to pull off.
Now, we don't know how it stands right now in the like current week or whatever, but
it's probably still there, because usually it stays steady stacked until something else comes along.
Yeah, like, but it says it was from a Business Insider report per Parrot Analytics. The Witcher passed Disney Plus, Star Wars, The Mandalorian as the top show in the world in the week of December 22nd to December 28th.
So the week it was released, pretty much, because it launched December 20th.
Yes.
So.
And then it says The Witcher was also the top show in the US with nearly 127 million demand expressions compared to Mandalorian's 115 million demand expressions in the US that week. Now, like we said, The Mandalorian comes out, though,
it is weekly. But it's saying that a lot of people have been waiting to binge it.
Right.
And that would have been the week or the week after the season finale, so people would have been blowing through it then.
So it's definitely a thing. Regardless, The Witcher is one of the top shows.
No matter what you think about it, The Witcher Season 1 is a huge success.
Yes.
It was not the number one in-demand show on Netflix, because that's Stranger Things. It's always Stranger Things. But it is the second.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be... it says that The Mandalorian had just dethroned Stranger Things as the most in-demand streaming series in the US back in November, breaking Stranger Things' 21-week streak on top of Parrot Analytics charts. So, in terms of what it was for that... What's in demand for that time frame, it's the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Witcher is the top. Yeah. At least. And probably going to go on until either The Mandalorian releases another thing, or...
You'll probably see it stretch through for the next couple of weeks at the least.
Yeah, at the least. And it's a good show, and it makes sense what it's doing. So the people that were worried about it, I just don't think that you have any reason to feel worried, because it did fine.
It did great, actually.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes so far, finishing up The Mandalorian, but like, I've enjoyed it. I've
watched the entire
only
thing.
Heard good things,
and I watched it 2 episodes at a time, so it lasted me 4 days pretty much. So I stretched it out, a satisfactory amount, and I loved all the characters. I think they all carry the grace of their counterparts in the books perfectly. They capture the feeling of them, where Geralt does nothing but swear occasionally and grunt, where Jaskier does nothing but talk endlessly.
Yeah.
And Yennefer's a bitch. And that's the characters, and it's perfect, and it makes me happy inside.
So it's one of those things. Like, I'm looking at some of the comments right now that, like, talking about it, and people are saying they enjoy it. And you have, like, a couple comments from someone saying, like, oh, you'll find out that the show falls apart by episode 4.
If anything, it starts to get better the further you go.
Yeah, you just have people that have their opinions.
Because the show is built, it's structured very strangely, because there's 3 separate timelines running through it that you notice, if you're keen, you notice by the end of the 2nd episode, that Geralt's story is taking place further back in time than Yennefer's story, and Yennefer's story is taking place further back in time in Ciri's story. But all the timelines are converging towards Ciri's story. I think
some people maybe that's what threw them off, is like the weirdness of how it is, and that's fine. This is the thing: is if something's not your cup of tea, then it's not your cup of tea, and it literally comes down to like what you think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you have people that say like, oh, I gave it a shot, but it was poorly done, and I think saying that is very different than saying, oh, I gave it a shot, but I thought it was poorly done.
That's very different. It wasn't poorly done. People could consider it be poorly done. Like, people think the timeline thing is like, oh, it's confusing, it's hard to follow. I didn't struggle with it personally myself.
It's like,
and I thought the payoff when the timelines converged was amazing. That was worth it. If anyone was confused, that would make it worth it.
The stories so far seem like while they're happening, they have their own thing. If you don't look at it as being, because this is the thing that's cool, is how they set up with like what Geralt's doing is you don't feel like it's even in different time periods. It feels like it's all happening at once until you start to like
notice little things.
Like in this, by the end of the second episode, I've pieced together like this is probably happening in like kind of like different areas. But like you don't think about that until you start thinking like, oh, so is all this like why haven't
like at one point we're following Geralt's story and he's talking to a character and then it cuts to Yen's story and just in a passing motion we see someone give out to said character, but said character's a child. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's kind of, you know, explaining stuff that's happening in Geralt's storyline.
Yeah.
Like this was always a thing going on in the background.
And so it's kind of this thing where, you know, they I don't know. The show's doing good.
It's doing
great. The show's doing good, and there's nothing that anybody should have, I guess, been upset about. I mean, yes, you always have to worry just in case, but
yeah, like I was so excited, but I was worried.
Yeah,
that if it was going to be bad, it was going to be really bad.
Those are the only options.
It was going to be good or terrible.
Yeah,
there was no going average with it, but it did great. Production for the second season starts in February, I think, with the release for 2021. And I cannot wait.
I am excited to watch the rest of it because I just keep hearing great things about it, and it just makes me want to watch it more and more. So, off of that topic, and going into our last one that's a similar vein...
Star Wars!
Mandalorian Season 1.
Yes. Season 1 is over.
Another fucking great show.
It's some of the... In my opinion, this might be controversial to some people. A lot of people might agree with it. But it's some of the best Star Wars media we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah, I would say that.
Since Knights of the Old Republic. Because KOTOR would be like cream of the crop for me. And Mandalorian's content I thought was so satisfactory compared to all the other shows and movies and even some of the games that have come out.
Yeah. I'd say that it was exactly what Star Wars needs to continue doing. If you want to have the movies come out, the movies always have and always will be controversial.
Oh, yeah.
People that think that Star Wars will just be able to change everything to make everyone happy, it won't happen. You will have
please everyone.
You will have the people, because the reason is because Star Wars is so big and there's so many people still that think about the original that it makes it so it's hard to satisfy them while satisfying the masses.
Yeah, like as a series, it appeals to people of so many different like backgrounds, ages, ethnicities, cultures that it's impossible to make every single one of them happy because it's such a diverse fan base.
And it's one of those things where like, if you look back at the original Star Wars reviews, you had so much people talking shit. You had people that said like they walked out of the theater and stuff like that.
Like the one for Empire. Like Empire got slated in the reviews when it came out. It was like, oh, it's boring, it's slow, it doesn't make any sense, it's bad. But people consider Empire to be the best. And it's just like, you know, it's how it is.
Like here you go. I'm gonna give you an example. One of the reviewers from back when in 1977 when Star Wars the first one was released, they said, from the New York Post, they said Star Wars couldn't be the best picture of any year that had Annie Hall in it. And then someone else said there was no way Star Wars was best because one can't get emotionally involved with the characters, and that's the mark of a meaningful film. Which is funny because Star Wars has some of the most recognizable and meaningful characters you'll ever see.
And like you get connected to like them extremely. And you see that in the new trilogy, about how much people cry in the newest Star Wars. Just goes to show how attached we actually got to these characters.
But then this is when you have what the reality of it is, right? Is right here. Roger Ebert said he scoffed at the idea of Star Wars being the best film of 1977, but this is what he said. He still loved it. Star Wars is not a great movie in the sense that it describes the human condition. It is simply a fun picture that will appeal to those who enjoy it. You know what I mean? That employ those styles. And that's what I think...
Star Wars is for everyone.
People need to stop with this sort of gatekeeping, sort of like what you assume what things need to be.
Zealot-like mentality towards it.
Star Wars, as long as it's Star Wars in that universe and has that vein, you want to know how something stops being that is if they literally just shit the bed, or they shit out a movie that has no relevance to anything.
Yeah, it's like The Last Jedi was a bad movie,
but it was fun in parts.
Still a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it still had fun.
The prequels, with all their flaws,
are fun movies.
Still Star Wars movies, and they're still fun.
And like that's what it's about, and people seem to forget that.
It's not deep and it's not meaningful. The movies are supposed to be fun. The deep and meaningful parts of it come from the books.
Yeah, or like the separate storylines, or from the people that enjoy the characters that come out and they infer their own additional stuff from what they see from it. You know what I mean? Like I thought there's a lot of issues with Rey, Kylo Ren, Finn, like how they were portrayed in the movie. Yeah. But in terms of what their characters could have done,
like you look at the originals, I see a lot of issues with Luke.
Oh God, Luke is one of the worst characters.
Like,
to be honest,
Harrison Ford was great in the first one, but then in Empire and Return of the Jedi, he was bad. It's because he didn't want to be doing.
He didn't want to do them. He knew immediately he was typecasted.
Yeah.
At that point, what he seemed like to him
and the other writer, the guy who was working with George Lucas.
Yeah.
Wanted to kill him off, but George Lucas said, "I remember the quote: no one would buy a dead Han toy."
No.
That was what he said to him.
And so,
but to be honest, people would buy a dead Han toy.
They would. They probably have.
Yeah,
already.
They probably have. Hey.
So I think what it comes down to is when you look at like the Mandalorian,
it's different.
It did the Star Wars part fun, because Disney bought Star Wars. Obviously, the money aspect is right because they thought that we could make money of it. But we all know that Disney bought Star Wars because Disney makes fun movies.
Yeah.
The same reason why they have Marvel. They make fun movies. Marvel movies are not fucking cinematic masterpieces, and they never will be.
They're fun.
They're fun, enjoyable movies. That's all they've ever been and all they ever will be.
And even when they do get, like, you know, have those moments of serious and emotional, like in, say, Infinity War or Endgame.
Yeah.
It's like, it's still
fun. It's the movie is enjoyable. Yeah. I guess fun is kind of a wrong word, but enjoyable. Like you get what we're trying to say is that
you leave the cinema and you go, I had a good time watching that movie.
Yes, like I enjoyed watching that movie. You don't walk out and go like, oh my God, like thinking about like the backstory behind it. It's not like you watch, what's that one movie that with what is it, Jennifer Lawrence? That's she's in, and it's like the house that she's in, and like everything happens in that house, and it's like goes through this whole entire different story, and it's Mother. Was that it?
Is that
Mother.
The really creepy one, really weird movie?
Yes, yeah. Like, and they go through this whole thing and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden it gets to the end of it, and like it all starts over or whatever. It's like, and like you have a part, and it's showing like biblical senses of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that movie, you watch it, and you come out and you think about.
Yeah.
You think about,
because the director came out and said
what
that
people were doing.
It's a subtextual commentary about nature.
Yes,
that all the characters represent something from nature or biblical stories.
Yeah, and so you're looking at that, and it has something where you come out thinking, what did this mean? Why did this happen? How come this goes on? When you watch Marvel or Star Wars,
you don't do that.
You're not looking. Now you can have issues with the writing and the like story bits. I do.
Oh yeah,
I do with all of the films. Though.
Every single one.
Every single film.
Because it's hard to write space fantasy.
It's hard to write movies.
In general.
You know what I mean? And
it's
so,
like, okay, we have a, magical sorcerer with a blue laser sword and an evil sorcerer with a red laser sword having a conversation with a giant yeti that speaks in, like, it's gargling mouthwash. Now, I have to write dialogue for this scene that's supposed to be intense while they're talking about a giant planning killing weapon. How do you write that and make it sound not cheesy or campy? Or
I don't
dumb?
Like sand.
It's rough. Of course,
gets everywhere. So it comes down to
kill them.
The Mandalorian. The children too. All of them,
like animals.
I hate them.
Then the Imperial March plays. Cinematic masterpiece.
So, but what I'm trying to get at here is that when it came to The Mandalorian, I feel like this is the first time in a long while that we have something where the it's fun, it's good, the story's good, and all the characters are good, but like also the writing was done well, so you could say that it's kind of it's a cinematic like accomplishment, I would say, in terms of it took Star Wars and it's making it. There's definitely
it took everything it was supposed to be, did it, but didn't feel the same as everything else. It was its own thing. It was unique, special, but still felt like Star Wars. And
there is issue that I have, like I will with everything in the world. The acting, it's TV show acting. It's what you expect out of act. You
think about the caliber of actor that's in it anyway. So there's the guy who plays the Moff, what's his face? Gideon.
Moff Gideon?
Like, he's a good actor.
Well, yeah, but he's also Gus from...
Exactly.
And I didn't even know that until I looked at him and I was like, oh my god, that guy's the one guy from Breaking Bad.
And the second best actor in the show is Pedro Pascal, and he's under a helmet for the entire thing. Yeah. And everyone else are like...
One of them's like a wrestler or an MMA fighter or something like that.
The girl. She's,
the shock trooper.
She was a wrestler. She was Angel Face in Deadpool.
Yeah, it's people that aren't known for their roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so
they're not known for acting.
And if that's the biggest thing that I can come up with issues for this story,
but at the same time though, it doesn't mean the acting's bad in it.
No,
the acting is still good. It's just TV show acting.
Yes,
it's what you expect.
Exactly. So I don't know. Mandalorian first season, in terms of what it was as a whole,
loved it.
Great show.
I thought they set up for a second season very well.
I cannot wait for the next season.
It's going to be so good. They never gave us an answer about the jingling footsteps on Tatooine.
At first, when I saw the Mandalorian that pulled him up, I was like, "Oh my god, is it Boba Fett that's pulling him up?"
No,
I was like, "What? What?"
And Watch guys from the Clone Wars TV show.
It was literally just the same type of Mandalorian armor.
Yeah,
is all.
But we still never found out who the footsteps was on Tatooine. With the jingling.
The fact that they brought...
Goddamn
Boba Fett. I don't want to spoil too much, but the fact that they brought in that weapon that is...
It's like...
historically was a Mandalorian weapon.
And to Star Wars fans, it's very iconic.
Yes. Is just nuts.
And the people who've had that weapon in the past makes it even bigger.
I guarantee you that we're going to find out that weapon... belongs to Mando. Belongs to what's his name? Din?
Din.
Belongs to Din. Like, technically, because you don't have that weapon unless you earn it. The same as everything in Mandalorian standards.
Yeah.
Mandalorians are all about the same reason as why Baby Yoda's kept there is because if something's deemed too weak to fend for itself, Mandalorians, their code is they're supposed to take care of it and not kill it.
Is it an orphan? It's like, okay, train it to be one of us. Like, if it's not strong enough to be one of us, you return it to its people. You keep it safe.
No matter if it's our enemy or not.
Yeah.
Mandalorians are known for you don't fight battles that don't present a challenge.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why the Purge and stuff like that seems so great to them, is because they were wiped out for the most part unfairly.
Yeah.
Some of their biggest, like, their saddest and biggest honorable things, yes, is what it is. Which is weird, because you wouldn't expect that. But that's what they're based on.
Their culture, survives around fighting, but they'll never fight if it's unfair, and they'll never fight if it's not needed.
They're not supposed to, in most cases.
If they don't need to fight, they tend not to.
Yes.
It's only when it's like, okay, yeah, no, we're going to have to fight, so it's going to be chaos.
Except for when you look at, like,
it's very much
the Mandalorian Wars from KOTOR, the Old Republic, but that's also...
Yeah, that was a different sect to them, though. That was a different time, man.
I mean, it was far back.
Yeah, it's like after that they went through the whole pacifist stage.
Yes, so, like...
It's a different time, man.
Yeah. It's different.
It's like Germany.
Yeah. Completely different now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's very... very good. I can't wait for that. You know, I'm gonna come out and say it. I think that 2019 was a good, a great year for Star Wars. You had Jedi Fallen Order, you had The Mandalorian, and you had the rise of Skywalker. Despite what your opinions are overall for it,
enjoyed it.
Those three things definitely made this is probably the best year and the fact that also Star Wars Battlefront 2 kind of had a little bit of redemption to it, and it's actually a good game now.
Yeah.
So like, this was for now the year of the Star Wars, and that means that hopefully we only see more come from
it. So to tie up the Mandalorian though, let's say 3 things you want to see in season 2.
I want to see the child gain more of a presence, like be trained or do something, even though like he looks young and stuff like that. Like I want it like to be something where he's starting to understand more.
We kind of got glimpses of that in season 1 as well, like when he force choked your one.
Yeah.
It's like we kind of.
I thought that was really good.
That was awesome.
That was really good. I liked the writing behind that of just like, oh no, he's getting hurt.
Yeah.
Force choke.
But the fact he goes straight for that, it's like, is he learning from Mando? That's how he has to do it.
Yeah.
Not like just defend, but attack.
Yeah. He protect. He attack. But most importantly,
he like to eat bone snack.
So
2 other things you want to see. I want to see the child come more into it, get more of a presence.
I would say, to be honest, and this seems like a weird one, but like, I want to continue to not see Din. Like, I want to see Mandalorian.
We won't, because
I don't want to see his face.
No living thing can see him.
I'm glad that we got to see that sort of thing, but I want that to continue.
Clever loophole.
Yeah, I want it to be
man with no name, helmet.
Well, not even like that. Like he has his name, that's fine. Whatever. If people keep calling him that, like other people that are close to him, I'm fine with that. I want him though to continue on with his traditions because that's his whole thing, right?
Yeah.
His creed is that he follows like how every Mandalorian comes into the fold. Pretty much is they're brought in.
Yeah.
And I want his beliefs to stay with him because his beliefs are what make him cool.
Yeah.
The fact that he's part of those belief systems.
And maybe, if anything, because his helmet was took off at all, he'd be more so embedded to the creed. Like, he feels like he has to prove himself a little bit more.
Yeah. And then I would say, third of all, I want to see him continue to work on those issues that he has with, like I want the show to be where he still does how he does things, and like maybe he is a bit more, I guess, towards the light side that you would say and towards the things, but like he stays kind of that gray neutrality.
Yeah. Where
it's about not involving himself, but I want him to get over this sort of like deep hatred that he has with the droids.
I think that's kind of a thing to set up as well with
because
DB11.
Because I like the fact that he has that sort of about him, but I like it because I knew that it was going to be something that played a part.
Yeah.
And now that part seems like it's kind of working its way away from that, I want to see there be a new sort of.
You want to see further growth upon that.
Yes, and it maybe turn into something different that he has issues with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
What about you?
For me, I'd like to see more of Mandalore's past. I'd like to learn more about it. Because obviously in canon we know a fair bit, but I'd like a bit more depth to it.
Yes. Yeah. I want a depth of what
a bit more of an explanation about like how they work, what he remembers, his training, how he went through all that.
Yeah.
Like more about that. I'd like to learn, again, obviously more about the child, like see further growth there.
Like learn more, like have him find out more information about the child, have him figure out like what...
Something. Don't name the species, not yet anyway.
You don't have to name the species. If you do, fine, but like you don't have to ever.
But it, at least build upon it.
Yes.
Pull that tension string a bit more for it.
Or even on the Jedi, now that you have sort of this reveal.
Yeah,
that
he knows what a Jedi is.
Well, you might not have a reveal of like a Sith or like another Force user because we haven't seen any sort of presence of that, but we know that the weaponry.
We had the weaponry, the powers, so it's like that can be an aspect to it. He might have to learn how to deal with that. He's a Mandalorian, he knows how to fight. The one thing he's probably never been trained to fight is, Force users and Jedi and things like that. So maybe he'll have to learn how to do it. Maybe we'll get like a little thing where he's trying to teach, the child something about survival, while he's kind of using the child to try to learn, how would I fight against someone like you?
Well, then you have...
Because it's like, I'm looking for your people. How would I deal with this if you guys are these so-called, Force-using sorcerers called Jedi? How would I deal with that? And maybe he has to learn that as well as, with everything else that's going on in the background. He'd have to evolve it.
Yeah.
He'd have to continue his training, which would be very interesting to see.
Especially because considering at this point, he's one of like the few only remaining.
Yeah, because
Force users that we know, like obviously that are made presence. We found out that Order 66 wasn't as over the years. We found out it wasn't as efficient.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
left. But that makes sense because there's no way in that galaxy that. But we know that most of them is because they're in hiding and they renounce themselves.
Yeah, we learn in the Vader comics. There's a thing Jedi do where they put themselves into exile, where they'll just go off and meditate.
Yeah,
and that there was like dozens upon dozens of them out.
Yeah,
when Order 66 went through. And that they're still just chilling out there.
And so then...
meditating.
You have this sort of time period where it's after the Empire, but it's before the First Order. So there's, like, nothing even going towards them now.
Yeah.
So, like, you have free range to go with this character that's a Force user without having to worry about anybody trying to find them. They
can do whatever they want, and they have that well of characters that they could jump into. It's untapped.
Yes.
But the third thing that I want to see in Season 2 is... tell us Boba Fett survived.
Or at least stop teasing it.
Yeah, just give us an outright answer. Tell us if he's dead or alive. Just outright. Go back to Tatooine, jump in that Sarlacc pit. Either find like his melted armor like they did in one of the comics. Where it's like, they found it outside of the pit.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, did he get out? Or did the Jawas just scavenge in the pit? And then there was the times he literally climbed out of it.
Yeah.
And then drove back into it. And then climbed out of it again. And then was like half cyborg. And then I'm pretty sure trained one of Luke Skywalker's kids.
Probably.
No, the whole thing. Boba Fett, that's all I care about.
So,
I want to see a fight between the two coolest Mandalorians we've gotten.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
You can't even deny, you can't argue
Boba Fett's more on the dark side of things.
Yeah.
Like the dark gray, whereas like...
Mando's on the light side of it. Where they're both morally grey, but leaning towards a certain side.
Yeah. I mean, like, Boba Fett's definitely a dickhead.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He worked for the Empire.
And, like, did it... where, like, that's something that, like, everyone that's, like, has any sort of shred of decency...
Like, that's where you draw the line.
Yeah, it's like... Well, it was like Imperials.
Yeah.
Imperials are always where you draw a line.
Yeah, and if you join them, you quickly realize it's like, wait, no.
Yeah.
I.e. Han Solo and every other ex-Imperial character in Star Wars lore.
That all of them.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Literally all of them.
So yeah, I think that's decent. I think that's a good kind of way for 2020. We've talked about what we want to see in a lot of different aspects.
Yeah.
Games, movies, what we want to see in shows that we're watching and stuff like that. And in our own lives, we have our own personal goals.
Exactly.
That you guys don't get to know about because you're not my mom. But on that note, once again, I hope you guys have a great 2020. You had a great New Year's. You have a great 2020.
And I know this year's going to be good for you guys. 2020 will be great because I can see it clearly.
With your Force powers.
With my 2020 vision.
I thank you guys so much for listening to us. We love you.
We appreciate you.
Kyle's a bitch, and goodbye.
Oh.